What's up, Go enthusiasts? I just got back from the US Go Congress. It was so much fun, and I have so many games to show you. Let's get right started right into the game. Joel Kenny was my first opponent in the US Open round one. Actually, we'd already played in the 9x9 tournament before round one even started. Um, yeah, Joel Kenny is a great opponent, great player. I've played him many times and I really like him. I think he's one of the players who loves Go maybe the most in the entire North American Go community. At least that's my impression. And I really respect the way that he plays and the way that he handles himself as a player. Anyway, I'm not showing his picture here because, well, later in the tournament I did play the winner of both the Girls Cup and the Redmond Cup, which is the male kids tournaments. So I played both of those champions, and I figured I probably shouldn't show their photos for their games, and then why not just not show photos for anybody? So you guys, if you really are interested in how Joel Kenny looks, just go to the next US Go Congress. Anyway, um, yeah, this game was a very fun first round because we had played before many times, and I think our fighting skill is somewhat similar. I think I have a little bit of an edge against Joel in the Endgame in particular. So yeah, this was a really interesting game to get started, and I was very nervous, as you might be able to tell by my play here. So this is a Joseki, which I play in the upper right corner. I have played plenty of times, and normally I would just Hana here. But in the game, I was feeling nervous that this way the stone at R10 was going to be getting swallowed. I wouldn't really have a good way to handle both that stone and these two stones, even though objectively this is sort of supposed to be good for black. The reason why this is supposed to be good, of course, is that white is not that thick on the top side, and also not thick with any of the groups on the right side either. So white isn't really supposed to be expecting very much territory here. That should be a satisfying result for black to be kind of attacking things and getting territory back in white's area. But that's not what I did. I decided to play from the outside instead. And the reason why is that I saw a line here where I would give him the territory and be satisfied with what I was getting. So I thought this was something where I would be a bit more comfortable in the continued game. I knew that Joel was going to be making this move, and I knew it would be a mistake. Um, Everybody plays this move. I think strong Fox 9 Dons stop playing these extends. Even weak Fox 9 Dons still play it. This extend is a mistake, and it's actually the kind of move that if you're, you know, 1Q for Fox 1Q or single digit Q level, you're less likely to make this mistake. But the Dons, it's compulsion. Every mid Don level player, um, and I'm including AGA mid Don, which is a very strong player, feels a compulsion to play this move in the shape where we were one space jump away and attach and extend up. You gotta play here, especially if there's a nice move there, even because it makes it so that black is supposed to answer to the shape. If black does answer to the shape, it's just better for white because white got more space, white covered the cut, and the cut for black still exists. So black kind of doesn't achieve anything and white achieves a lot. It's something you can get for free most of the time. But he can't get it for free in this position. And so it's definitely a mistake here because black can turn. And even though white can kill that one stone on the right side, which is great for white, there's still a little bit of a weakness, and black can Atari and take time. So the reason why it's compulsory for most mid-don level players to play this shape is that it is good shape, in good direction, and usually you don't lose time doing it. However, there are certain cases where you do lose time playing this move, and so it would have been a lot better for white to play push from behind here to try to be a bit more urgent, even though that gives black this move as black's sente. Black then still has to take care of the group running to the center. You can see that running through the center here for black is far less satisfying than running to the bottom side, because this way white can continue to put pressure and even break the bottom side, maybe even attack black a little bit. This would be far more efficient in terms of territory for white than the actual game, where although white got wonderful shape to take the right side, I was very satisfied to set up a big wall towards the bottom side, where I then got to double approach and then sort of even claim the entire bottom side here. So although white is making a nice efficient shape to take the right side, it isn't a threat. It's the kind of thing that I can just give to white and be totally okay with that. And on the other hand, my bottom side is a threat. It's the kind of thing which white probably does not want to give to me, but it's also really hard to invade. So I felt really comfortable in this game position, and since I was nervous playing in the first round of the Open, I was very happy to have a comfortable position. Even though objectively, I think the AI says this is not even that good for black. I think from a human perspective, I have a high win rate in this game. Anyway, Joel played aggressively, blocking here on the left side. Joel tends to play rather aggressively, and I know about that, actually. We've played enough times that I know his style enough that I can sort of plan around what I expect Joel to be doing rather than just playing normal Go. And so after cut, I extended here. So I hunted, expecting the cut, expecting to extend, expecting all of this to happen because I knew that this move at 55 was great. And if I could get this move, I would definitely have a good position. So it's not possible for white to cut or surround me here. And then the one black group is running out, it's not going to get surrounded, and it's going to fight against two weak white groups. That's really hard to handle for white. It's really hard to organize so that he continues to play high value moves. I think this jump is a really normal, good looking move. And then when I jump here, or when I push here, he jumps. Like, what Joel's doing seems fine, but yeah, if you check the AI eval, it's just going up for black. And the reason why is simply that what black is doing is strategically speaking better. You really want to have the one group which is taking care of itself attacking two weak white groups rather than having the two weak white groups. I don't know actually what what Joel was supposed to do better here. For my opinion, his moves looks fine. It's just that like getting into the fight in the first place is probably a bit problematic. And actually, there was one. So I haven't looked at these games with AI thoroughly during the Go Congress. I did put them on OGS, and occasionally I clicked the OGS score estimator to see Katago's opinion on a position or two. But I didn't see any details of move recommendations from the AI until I came back home. And one move recommendation that has stumped me is that black is apparently supposed to play here instead of jumping, which is very strange. As you can see in the game, when I jump out like this, I'm sort of threatening to put myself ahead of white. So from Joel's perspective, it made some sense to try to attach, gain time, and try to run out, try to stop himself from getting behind me. If I could cover that white group, he would be in a lot of trouble. And so it doesn't seem to make sense that instead of giving him that difficult running question of how exactly he was going to run with the attach, he could also have jumped. And in general, attach had some flaws we're going to see. To instead play this table shape would allow him to have a better running movement, like a very obvious running movement to get ahead of me. And yet, for some reason, the AI just judges this as better for black, and it's a judgment, one of those situations where I simply don't understand, even though I think I know what the following sequences would be. I just disagree with the AI's judgment there. That doesn't mean the AI is wrong. It means I'm wrong, and I don't know why. So if any strong players in the comments can tell me why is it better to play G11 and give white a tiger's mouth for a knight's move movement rather than to play here and give them this movement? If you happen to know that, then I would be very, very curious to hear your answer. Anyway, there's lots of mysteries in Go. This is one of the minor ones, but the minor ones tend to be very intriguing. In the actual game, he played this attach, I played Hane, and I chose to invade. So this is really aggressive for me. I was saying Joel's an aggressive player, and we're both similarly strength fighters, I think. I think I have an edge over Joel in Endgame. If I do have any great edge against Joel, probably it's that I'm a better endgame player. But other than that, we're rather similar, I think, in fighting skill. Yeah, this is a bit aggressive. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I was looking at it and just thinking, I know I could like push, I know I could just give him the left side, but it seems like I get him off the hook, you know? So I wanted to be really aggressive here so that he has to take care of all of his weak groups, including the corner weak group, and I'll break all the territory in the meantime. Of course, it gives Joel an obvious move to do, to shoulder hit me, and then I had to run through. This fighting was very exciting. There were many options for both players. I do remember suggesting some of the blue moves to Joel live, like some of the blue moves that I see from Katago, but I'm not going to run through all of the details. We're going to try to get through all of my games rather more quickly than the pro games because frankly I pack less information into my own move choices than the pros pack into their move choices. So I'm not going to put on airs here and pretend I'm doing everything completely right. But I did like this peep. I think this peep was a good move by black to cover the center and try to force white to make a shape defending, where then I could make a cut like this and really give white a lot of pressure. I think this is a really, really hard position for Joel to take care of that group. However, also a bit hard of a position for me, and so when he found the push, which I think is the best move, I actually didn't check whether it's the blue move, but in my opinion, as a human, it's the best move. I made a huge error, a really preventable error here by pulling back, and obviously I know that that's not the right shape, and I thought, okay, this is the correct local shape. This is just thicker, but I thought, well, frankly, I'd been doing a few too many difficult Sumego, and I thought using these outside stones is always the important idea during difficult Sumego. So surely it'll be useful in a real game as well. So when I extend like this, and he gets to push through, and he could continue to push through, he doesn't do it, but if he continued to push through, then, well, surely all of these stones being fought against means they're being used, and I'm actually doing well. But that's not necessarily the case just because he's fighting against me that I'm doing well, right? And in this case, I would actually have to save my group on the left side really hard. I can't win a capture race against white because white can always cut here. And I'm really weak on the outside. Actually, black is getting in massive, massive trouble here with the cuts. It probably could make sense to extend back here, but I would need a lot more outside stones to justify fighting over here. Like maybe if I had the bamboo joint here, then the pullback could be better than the block. But I mean, in this case, it's just ridiculous, to be honest, that I pulled back like this. And it's not even like if I had blocked like this, that the tiger's mouth is not useful in the fight anyway. I was just scared that if I played this block, that the opponent would jump like this. At this point, it looks like you could push through. However, you can see after this one, it looks like it's a Sente move, and I would have to answer. And then now I can't cut because he could capture my 2 stones, and white is breaking through. I thought these kinds of variations are scary because I have to take care of my group in the upper left and the group on the left side and not die. It is scary, but I could have played like this and just straight up sacrificed these kinds of variations. Yeah, I would be completely winning if I had played like this. And that comes from a little bit just sort of slowly outplaying Joel and when the fight was strategically going well for me. Anyway, I did not end up in a completely winning position, unfortunately. And so therefore, yeah, we had this. So I was lucky that Joel did not continue to cut me and then force me to actually figure out how to save on the left side. He sort of backed off by hunting here, hoping that I would answer, and then he could get an even more crushing fight against me, but I was not so naive. And I let him play this nice shape at b13. The game is back to being sort of in good control for black, even though white doesn't have to take care of the group on the left side so hard. Mostly because black has good chances to control the bottom side. I mean, this is a really large area. I don't know if I've put a proper... I haven't done this yet, right? If that's all black territory, black's gonna win the game. I don't have to care. Even white could capture my group in the upper left and I could still be doing well, right? So it should still be good for black because it's really hard for white to take care of that. And especially if they do emphasize on that right away, it's very unlikely that they will manage to capture my group in the upper left. So this position is really hard for Joel, but unfortunately for me, he finds the right idea, which is to cut here, which surprised me in the game. I was like, cut? Really? You can cut? Aren't I supposed to be okay? Because if you cut like this, then I can Atari, which leads me to getting ahead in the pushing battle in the center. So now we're headed more towards a position where I can actually capture the entire bottom side. You guys probably thought I was kidding, right? How can you capture the entire bottom side? Well, it comes when white needs to counterattack you, and that's what white does. And it was actually a great idea for white, because after this turn, it's really hard to come up with moves for black. I spent like 10 minutes thinking here, and then eventually I did find the blue move, which is just extend. There's many other options, but they aren't as good. But unfortunately, I had it's not exactly a wrong follow-up idea, but a Poorly thought out follow-up idea. What I did is the blue move. I played here, and I saved like this. But I wish I hadn't played it. I wish I had thought a little harder instead of playing like that. Blue, of course, meaning the Katago approved move. Yeah, even if Katago approves, that doesn't mean it's the highest win rate for me to play, right? And I think this is one of those cases where I should have played the net like this. And because white is still short of liberties, it's hard for white to try to break through this. You can see at this moment it's Atari, and white would now, because I have not done anything with these two stones, end up netted and killed. So if I play like this, it's actually really hard for white to try to break through. And always I can set up those short liberty techniques. White can come back to cover them, but if I manage to link my groups together here, I think white is just in huge global trouble. It's going to be really hard for white to play the game, even though capturing those two stones means that his left side group is totally safe. And now in the game, the reason why it's correct to play, objectively speaking, to save those two cutting stones, is that white has the answer on the left side, which I knew. I'd figured at least if white doesn't have to answer to live, then I'll be able to win the fight by fighting over there, where white has to worry so hard about actually living. And it was true. The white did have to answer, and Joel answered. And then objectively, this is better for black than the other variation. However, it's better for black if you can save the upper left group easily. Now, I know objectively you can do that, but can I do that? Like, Katago can do that. Zichen can do that. The strong players can do that. Can I save that black group in the upper left easily? Well, in the game, I was like, let me run out really fast, try to make it a pressure on white. And white ran out. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to save territory. This is a bad idea. I'm already losing control of the game, which at this point, I could get very, very good control instead by playing this way. And I was looking at that and I was thinking, okay, I can play like that. This is the best variation. I was also looking at other ways that I could play all sorts of, I mean, I thought for another like 15 minutes here. I was thinking of everything you could think of. And so of course I read the correct variation, but it's the judgment which is the hard part. Okay, I got ahead. So now that I'm ahead on the bottom side, it looks really comfortable for black. I should easily be able to run that way. And so it's really looking like I'm getting all that stuff, and that's great. However, at this point, because I played from the top side, if that all becomes white, I mean, this isn't that good. White already has all of this. White already has some corners, some sides. This is not that good for black. So the only way that I can continue to play, even though I got the movement direction in the center, is something like turn. The concept here is, because the 4 stones in the corner are a little bit weak, because white doesn't have any stones on the top side yet, because black is pretty strong in the upper right, just save the group. 2 eyes, poof, they appear somewhere. Where? I don't know. And I don't think it's possible to know. I don't think it's possible to be like, oh, the 2 eyes are going to be exactly there, exactly there. It's more like you believe that you're winning the fight, and then you execute, and you say, oh, this makes my fight a little more winning, towards getting the 2 eyes. This is the kind of thing that you can practice with this new app that's out called Go the Infinite Path, if you're curious. Anyway, I was looking at this thinking this is a Go the Infinite Path problem, but I don't really know if I would take black. And if you mess up just a little bit here, you could totally die. I'd checked some variations in Katago, and it is entirely possible that I would have just flat out died to Joel here if I had played the correct variation. So I didn't do that, and instead I played like this. But this was objectively pretty bad, because what I was doing here is saying, I want to allow myself to die with those stones in the upper left, because it's just too hard to save them and then also take control of the middle fight. So I want to allow myself to die with those stones and still have a winning position if possible. So I was trying to set that up like this, but this is a really bad way to set that up. It would have been a lot better if at least I tried to capture the bottom side instead of capturing the top side. Although it's, again, going to be really tricky when this kind of thing happens. Tricky, but probably doable. I mean, this turn should be Sente, and there should be a weakness over here. There's a lot of stuff that can go on, but I think I should be confident for this kind of thing. It's just tough. This is the kind of moment which is so difficult. It's what Joel is good at doing, is making me have this kind of difficult moment. And so instead, in the game, I played on the top side, which means that he could run out in the center, and now I'm not going to get that big box of territory anymore. He can take care of his own group on the bottom side pretty easily here. And the reason why I thought this was going to be okay is that it gave me a bunch of stones for me to cut in the center. So I thought, okay, I can cut in the center. This is going to be great. When I cut in the center, that means that I can take care of my upper left group. And yet, somehow, that isn't really what happened. So he attached here, which was to set up this push, really, really, really asking me to block. But blocking is really bad. I should have pushed like this. It's so painful to get yourself split like so. As black, the shape is so bad. However, the upper left corner is not that thick, and I should be able to save myself. I mean, I have this as Sente, right? I should be able to save myself using the upper left weakness. I mean, there's also group on the left side, which is still weak. As long as the black group saves in the upper left here, and my center group also saves, which is also not that guaranteed, I'll be okay. It is a lot of ifs. It is a lot of ifs. So I was too scared in the game. In the game, I was thinking still along the lines of, I want to win the game by sacrificing the group on the left. I want to still be okay. But I don't have the profit anymore. I was supposed to get the profit in the center. Now I've gotten profit on the top side, but the top side profit is way smaller than the group in the center being dead was supposed to be for black. So he cut, and he captured my left side stones, and now I'm supposed to sacrifice them, so I Atari'd and connected like this, but he can capture me cleanly here. There's no co, because he can counter Atari, and even if I connect, it's going to be the same thing. He can always counter Atari and fill my liberties from the outside. Probably it was better, instead of playing this Atari, to play like this, so that my follow-up, when he answers against me, can be this Atari instead. I just have a thicker shape this way, a more obviously thick shape at least. Yeah, in the game I played like this, and then I pushed here, which was also bad, because I should have this move as my Sente. I should have been able to jump, and then cover his group in the center. I could have attacked that. I did not attack that very hard by pushing here. He managed to save like this. And he mentioned to me after the game, he thought he was just leading too much at this moment. Leading too easily. Because he'd won the fight, because he'd captured my group, saved his own group, and I'd only gotten a little bit on the top side. When I was playing the game, I thought the game is still probably fightable, probably still close. Basically because things had gone according to my plan. It's just that my plan was really bad. But so yeah, in the game, when I made this co, I was thinking, okay, this is my chance in order to try to figure out an end to the fight, which is actually going to be favorable to me. And then I was very happy to suddenly find that he fought like this, which is a very bad way to settle a co. He should have fought this more realistically, but what he did is he basically tried to panic button his way to the end of the game by saying he can connect underneath in this way by giving me the co. Black has a wonderful Aji here. The P7 is suddenly a cut which works for black. Black won the co for free while white was just fixing on the second line, and there's still so many cuts. It was really a very bad sequence for white. Black is getting back into the game this way. And now, don't get me wrong, white is still leading, actually, as he heads into the endgame here. But I was happy to see it, because this way, at least I am playing an endgame. And again, I spent quite a while here. I paused, and I was like, okay, I need to find a way to outplay Joel in the endgame. That doesn't tend to be as antagonistic as it is in the middle game. Usually to outplay somebody in the endgame, you just have to solve your own problems better than they solve their own problems. And so that's what I focused on doing here. I descended first, and the idea is that the bottom side territory is like the most critical for all of the endgaming. This one is the one which can be bullied by both sides. And so I decided to play this move first, and then I played here. And the hope was that I'm going to bully his center group. So that one doesn't have any clear two eyes yet, and it's possible for me to cut it and attack it. I was very fortunate that he answered to me. I think with this answer, I already have gained a lot in the endgame, because I really wasn't supposed to deserve that much. And in the game, I played this kick before finally coming back to play the Hana and the connect on the bottom left. It was a little bit dubious to leave that the whole time. He could have totally gone for it at any moment there, and it wouldn't have been for as good for me as I sort of thought it was going to be. I thought I could, like the game was supposed to be good for him and heading into the end game, right? So I had counted. I actually did have a very accurate count at around this moment. I did believe it was like white by 4, and the AI here is saying white by 5. Um, so my count, my judgment was quite good, and I knew that I had to outplay in the end game. Um, However, yeah, even though I was like offering a trade of the bottom side end game for center madness, where I was hoping that he just wouldn't know what was happening, and he also believed he might not know what was happening, that's why he blocked and answered like this, where it's clearly alive now. I shouldn't have offered madness, which is so costly. it was very costly madness in the corner. I wish I would have played the E19 right away and gotten that sort of trading possibility off the board and then tried to bully the remaining areas as well. Anyway, I was fortunate enough to get answers here because Joel's judgment was also very good. He knew he was leading. However, yeah, this is sort of the endgame skill difference. This kind of move at R14 is not acceptable. By the way, there's a deer that just walked by in the the bottom of the frame over there. I just saw. Um, yeah. Anyway, this is where the endgame skill difference appeared, and I was fortunately able to finally win this game. I sort of pressed on every single border and got actual answers. Joel should have fought against me in each of these moments and found another one to trade to play into. For example, if instead of answering me in the upper left, Joel would have saved his 3 stones in the center, that's a more significant amount of territory than I can break in the upper left. Now, this kind of trading is hard to judge, and it's very easy to just rely on the opponent and like copy their answers. But you have to go your own way in the end game. A lot of the time, you have to be pressing really hard that um, you're the one who's gaining. And so, yeah, I was fortunate enough here to be the one who decided the general flow of the game, and eventually I managed, after covering basically every single endgame battle, to come back and play the one big Gote move at P7 as well. And so he played his own Sente, his own right over there, and he created this Ko. I think he already at this point realized that things weren't going that well. So he made that Ko, and then he captured the 2 stones on the top side, which is a fairly big move, but it probably wasn't as big as the complications could have been if he'd gone for the Ko right away and left my cutting points. So I liked my move at S16 a lot, especially when I got an answer, so then I could go and bother the other areas of the board as well. Here, I don't know exactly what I was doing. I just wanted J7 Sente, and oh, I think I wouldn't have had another, but I should have had another co-threat anyway. I think I lost a co-threat there for some reason. My reading is not that good. My calculation in the endgame is very good, and my reading is better than some of my opponents, but it's not perfect. Somehow in the endgame, I find it more possible to reach a perfect reading, like quality of play, than I find that that like ideal to be. That ideal is absolutely unobtainable in the middle game, but it's kind of obtainable in the end game. And so I hold myself to a somewhat higher standard, personally. So for example here, this was the perfect order. So he had made a mistake during his co-threat. He had used a co-threat to try to save those 3 stones, but he took his own liberty away, which allows me to have a liberty trick. This is obviously the kind of thing that Joel could have seen, would have seen on a better day, but I'm already winning the game by a comfortable margin, even if this didn't happen. Atari and then Atari here. This was exactly the correct sequence in terms of the right side. A lot of people would Atari at T11, but that's a mistake because currently white has 2 liberties, both of which white has to play. And after Atari at T11, black would still have 2 liberties, both of which white has to play. But the difference is that white would have an additional stone at T8, which is very useful to white. So in these types of situations, you do not want to make that final Atari here. This Atari alleviates white's problem. Like, yes, in this case, white can't connect. However, when white connects like this and you capture, it's better at this moment. You can see I don't get the final forcing move. So in the game, I'm going to get both of those forcing moves at the end by throwing in and capturing like this. When white captures, now you can see I have both forcing moves. on the top side. So I gain a point compared to if you would have Atari'd at 11. And then I came back to recapture the ko. I also gained some ko threats. This S18 is like, maybe it's not the most accurate local endgame. S17 is the most accurate local endgame, but given the ko considerations, it's making more sense to play a more defensive move, and still the local follow-up of T17, if I get to play next, is just as good as if I would have played S17. Anyway, I tried to play my ko, or I tried to play my endgame in general as accurately as possible here. The exact order of moves might not show that. I didn't get the exact order of moves 100% right, but the end co-trading was correct, that he had exchanged this T18 for S17. And then I played this push. I sort of thought he might end the ko here, and he did, which meant that I could push through, push like this. That's my follow-up to the ko threat, which is Sente. It's not as big as the ko itself, but having Sente means I get to also fix this area. So overall, that was about the best that Black could have done from the ko. And yeah, in the end here, although I entered the end game down 4, I'm going to win this game by 15.5 points, I think. Obviously, there was a misread that happened in the upper right. However, that actually only accounted for about, I think, roughly 6 of the points, of the 20 points that I gained in the endgame. So I was very happy with this game afterwards. That, I mean, that misread was very significant, of course, but he would have had to answer anyway. That's probably a bit more than 6 points that I gained there. But there would still have been some kind of squeeze, like some kind of answer being forced, no matter how exactly that had gone. And I would have gotten the 2 points off of this one stone as well. I guess that's 3 points. So although it was very big for me to capture that and make it so that way I had no territory, not as big as it may automatically look. And I was very happy that I had gone around to, like, this is exactly how they tell you how to win the end game. You just go around to every area and put the fear in your opponent that they need to answer and gain. Gain through the passivity of opponents who believe that they're leading. So I was very happy with this game. And tomorrow we're going to be watching game 2, where I then got paired up against Evanton, one of the most promising young talents in North America. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.